You know, I get very excited when there is a new product because, there's been the same products on the market over and over again. And when Tim Holtz came out with this Distress Foundry Wax, I was like, oh, I need to try that. And I don't know if that happens to you, but I really felt like I needed to try it and play around. You know how much I love exploring and experimenting. So that's basically what I'm going to do today. I'm going to show you how I created this art journal. And basically, it is it is an art journal page that is in a small journal, basically. So it's not something that might take me a long time, but it's something that just lets me play and have fun. But because I don't want to have it so close because I'm repeating it, I'm going to put it a little bit further in my art journal. So as you can see, when I sprayed, I made a really big mess here. So it doesn't really matter. I don't really care if that happens, but this time I'm actually going to wrap my journal at the top just to make sure that I can avoid a little bit of that, because I like seeing the page the way it is. So the Foundry Waxes, I'll show you a couple of ways to play with that. I played with them that I really loved using. And I'm going to use a couple of my stencils, starting with the Road Map Stencil. This is the stencil from Joggles. All the supply lists are listed below in the description. And if you're live on the chat, you can, Ingrid or Susan can go ahead and post them if you want. And I'm going to be using modeling paste. Any type of modeling paste would work. This is the Finnabair one because that's the one I always have at hand. And I love using my silicone brushes, whether it is this one or this one. This is the Finnabair one, and this is called a catalyst. It's not called a silicone brush. It's called something else. I cannot remember the name, so don't quote me, but it's from Blix. So you can use either one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create right away. I'm going to create the texture because that's the first thing I want to do. I'm not gessoing my background because this is a very thick watercolor paper. You can if you want, but I don't always do that. I know a lot of people ask whether or not we should gesso our backgrounds, and that's up to you. It also depends on what you're doing. But because I know I have a thick watercolor paper and I want to put sprays, which are like water-based, so I don't think I need to because I want it to kind of absorb. I am also not putting this whole design everywhere. So I want to make sure that I kind of create this triangle. So that creates movement from this side of the page to the other side of the page. And that's what's nice about it. Because then you can move things in both directions. So you move, sorry, it moves from one direction to the next. I think I'm a little bit nervous. I haven't been live in a long time. And yeah, so that's, I think, what it is. So I smooth out all the modeling paste, okay? And then I'm going to dry it. I think it had a little bit of ink from before, but that's okay. The only thing you have to make sure is that you clean up the modeling paste really well from your stencil. You don't want it to stay there. And also from your paintbrush here. Now I'm going to dry. And for this part, for the modeling paste, I usually like using this dryer because it's really hot and quiet, especially when I'm going live. But I will be using the other kind soon, the one that is like for embossing for the foundry. And you will see why in a second. Now, it's really important that this is fully dry, especially when you add wet mediums. You do not want to have things wet, especially not modeling paste, because what happens is that it will become like cakey and gross, and you don't want that. So I really like this because it kind of have lines going in opposite directions. This texture is really cool because of that. And the way I check to see if it's dry, I literally just put my hand on it carefully because it's a little bit hot, and I can feel already that it's dry. So I know that's okay. And I just go with I'm going to go with the next step. For this, I'm going to be using Distress stains, and I grabbed some of my favorite colors, which are Salvage Patina, Peacock Feathers, and Prize Ribbon. I mean, I love the blues. That's something that I've always loved, and I feel like blues go really well with gold, and I love gold. Gold complements basically everything. I'll be using this one in a second to show you one of the techniques, but in the meantime, I just want to first create this so we can do something else. I might even put a little bit of a paper towel here. Always, if you have paper towel at hand, it's good to do that. So the way I like working with these, and it's a little bit on an angle, and I always have a spray bottle kind of handy, and I just start applying this so it kind of drips in this direction. I want to continue the direction to draw the eye from this side, from the left to the right. So we are used to in English speaking countries, or not even English, Spanish, and things, that the eye goes from left to right because that's the way we read. There's many other languages that that's not the case. But in us, like, we're used to that. So our eyes tend to go in that direction because of it, because we tend to read, and our brains start getting used to going from left to right. So I am using the tip of my spout to just add a little bit of paint. You can definitely use a paintbrush or spray if you want to. This is the controlled way of doing it, but it still gets pretty messy. And I like messy, so that's okay. So I started with this color, although sometimes I start with the lighter color. I don't know why I started with the dark one, but that's okay. Everything will just kind of mix together. And it's good to have this underneath because then I can just dab it if I want to. The next thing I'm going to add is a little bit of the peacock feathers one. And you know what? This one I might spray because I realized that it will probably show better. And I'm trying to kind of stain this. And look what I did. I just stained my whole side, and that's okay. I don't mind that. You see how it's sprayed everywhere? So this is why you want to kind of be careful. If you don't want to spray, just do it like how I did it before and just add it with a paintbrush. You can also go, I have a paintbrush here beside me, and any excess can be like added this way. I mean, I love mixed media journals, so even if they're like, stained on the sides, that just shows that I worked on them even more. This peacock color is stunning. And if you really want to remove some of it, you can just go ahead and work here. Hold on. Oh. Just kind of do this. But I'll show you another trick on how to get rid of some of the splatters here as well. Now I can add more of this. I think I'm actually going to go with the paintbrush. So yeah, see, I can add more with the paintbrush. I think I should have done this instead of spraying and splattering it everywhere. I love the combination of these two colors together. Okay, that's good. So yeah, the colors kind of tend to look really nice together. And water is your best friend, so you can really kind of drain everything this direction. I'm going to add a little bit more of the dark blue. Now, another color that I added was black. I thought I had the Tim Holtz Black Suit Distress Stain. Somehow I didn't. I don't know why. Don't know where it is. I could not find it, even the other day when I made the sample of the project. So I ended up going with a different spray. I used the Lindy's. So this is a flat Fabio spray. So it's still a flat spray, but it's black. It doesn't really matter which one you use. They're all like water-based, so they're all going to mix together. But what the black does is that it adds an extra kind of shadow effect to the edge. And it looks so pretty. There we go. I really like that. And you can even add a little bit in the middle of things. This is like spreading here, so I can go up and just wipe it off. If you do want to be able to remove it more, I don't mind that it's like this, then definitely put gesso in the background. I just love this, how it looks. And I love how it mixes with the blue. And it runs through these like channels or road map. This is why I think I called it road map, because It looked like a road map, like almost like a map. Okay, I think I really like this. I don't even want to touch it too much. You know, when you like something, so you don't want to touch too much because you might ruin it. That's me right now. But just let's blend it a little bit more. Oh, it's so pretty. How pretty is that? I love adding this type of texture. It just looks so nice. So this color, how it mixed with the blue, it is so gorgeous. Okay, so all right, let's go here. I want to add a little bit more blue. And sometimes it's hard to know when to say enough is enough. But I so love the combination of the blue and black that I really needed to just add a little bit more blue and spray it along. Okay, there we go. So let's see. I think I want a little bit of, let's put a little bit of salvage patina maybe in this area a little bit more. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to dry and I'm going to show you how to cover up anything that you might not like in an art in your page that you maybe did like you did or you sprayed too much, like in this area, for example. And I just want, I mean, I like how it's spread, but at the same time, I'm like, oh, I maybe should have a little bit less of that. So I'm going to show you how to do that. And I'm going to get to the Distress Foundry Waxes soon. You know what, while this is dries, maybe I can let it air dry so I can do a different part of this. So I really want to show you the foundry waxes. It's truly really exciting. So the foundry waxes, they're liquid and they come in 4 different colors, 2 and 2. There is the sterling, which is like a silver. There is mind, which is like a copper. Statue, it's like more bronze. And then the gilded, which is the gold. And I'm going to be using which one did I use? The gold today, which is the gilded, okay? And what I did is I took a piece of cardstock. This is actually alcohol ink cardstock. And what's nice about the foundry waxes is that they actually blend with alcohol, that you can, if you want to remove, let's say clean them, then you use alcohol. And they do wash with water as well a little bit, but if you really want to remove everything, all the excess, then you do that with alcohol. Yeah, with alcohol, like any type of either rubbing alcohol or isopropyl alcohol, which is stronger, which is great. So what I want to do is I'm going to use a stipple brush to create this. And what I'm going to be creating is the centerpiece, like kind of the focal point, okay? I'm going to put a little bit of this over here. Can you see it? Oh, it's too much on the corner. Sorry about that. Okay, there we go. And I am going to extend its like life a little bit with a little bit of alcohol. It makes a difference. I noticed I think Tim Holtz said that, and I saw it in Tiffany's live, and I thought, oh, I should do that. And using a stipple brush, I am going to go through this stencil. This is called the Geostarburst Stencil, also one of mine's from Joggles. And I am going to basically add it. And I found that the thicker you add it, the nicer it will look after you dry it. So you have to heat set it to make it look really pretty. So I love using the stipple brush. It creates this really nice design. And to do this, it works best with this type of heat tool. Okay, so for me, the way it changes, it kind of reminds me of embossing powder when it melts. I don't know. That's what it reminds me. People have been reminded of other things. And I already cut around one of this, but it's not as shiny as the other one. And I'm always going to use this part. So what I did is that in another video, so I actually have a membership also with patrons and on my YouTube channel that I do like videos behind the scenes. I actually just recently did this one for my members, which you can see how bright it is. And I found out that the way to get this bright, and you can, if you want to sign up, it's only $10 to do this class for March. But if you want to sign up, you can see like step by step. However, what I do this here to make it look more shiny is that I found that doing 2 layers really, really helps. So I'm going to press on this again, and then using this again, using the Gilded color, and mixing it with a little bit of alcohol again. I'm going to redo this, okay? And you're going to see that it's going to shine. Well, if I say it, you're going to see and watch it. You know, sometimes you say you're going to see, and then in a live, you plan something, and then it turns out completely. But my hopes are that that will happen, okay? It kind of layers, kind of like embossing powder. If you melt it again, or if you add more and you melt on top, it brightens up, makes it like even shinier, okay? And I'm going to just dry it again. And I need something to hold it so it will not fly away. And you see how quickly it turns, and look how much shinier it is now. It's stunning. Okay, so I really feel it's stunning. Okay, so I have now my focal point. I'm going to put this aside. And if you want to clean this, as I said, you can use alcohol. I'm going to do this later because I don't have time to do it right now. I want to continue with the journal. And the other way of doing this, and I really like the way this is, like, you know, the foundry wax, you can also kind of drip it on. Okay, so let me finish drying this. I think it's still a little bit wet. And you're going to see how I kind of dripped it on top of this page. I really like experimenting with them, with the foundry waxes. And this was really cool. Like, I have to say, from all products, you know, nothing has come out new in a long time with Tim Holtz. So having like this is really cool to just have something new to play with. I really, really enjoyed that. Okay, so now what I did is I wanted to kind of create the movement across the page. So I don't know what prompted me to do this, but what I did, that actually works really well because that's what I wanted to do, is I kind of follow these lines. Don't know. And the nice thing about it is that you can kind of drip it on top. You can also use a paintbrush. Don't get me wrong. You can also use a paintbrush. But you know me. I like it to look distressed. And I think distress is the right word for, I think, why Tim chose distress. Because it truly is things, the mixed media things look distressed. So I really feel he like nailed it. And I'm going to still show you how to cover this up. I just haven't gone around to it. Okay, let's see. Now I want to do this one and kind of go in this direction. And I think there's one more, and kind of follow this line. Well, and I'll make my own lines. If you don't know, if you don't have a thing, just make your own lines. It's okay to make your own lines. Nothing happens. Okay, so it's kind of looks weird at the moment. I know. I think this one should go in this direction. And here. Okay, so hold on. Okay, I like that. So now I'm going to dry again, and you're going to see this happening. Oh, actually, before I dry that, I love applying it this way as well. So this is like really fun to do. And just add a little bit of alcohol again. And using like a little paintbrush, I want to add some at the edges. So for example, right here, am I in the screen? I don't know, sorry. So it even adds, you can add like a border around things, okay? It looks really, really cool. All right, so there we go. And you can even add splatters. How do you know? So I need another paintbrush for that. Just to be careful not to add like everywhere. And this product has resin inside, like the alcohol ink, so just be careful. It shouldn't be like spraying it, but splatter, I think you can. Tim Holtz said you could splatter it. Okay, I like that. Oh, that looks so good. Okay, so yeah, oh, the cap thing. Thank you. Yes, I remember. Yeah, always close them. It's really hard sometimes. I've been really good at closing them, but I forget sometimes. Yeah, you should close them so they don't dry out because this material dries really quickly. Okay, so now I'm going to heat set this. You're going to see how pretty it's going to look. I don't even know if you guys can hear me over this dryer, so I try not to talk. I love how it melts everywhere. Oh, it's so pretty. Okay, going back to how to avoid this, okay? You could use a little bit of gesso to do that, okay? So to do this, you can either use your finger or pounce with a paintbrush. I end up resorting to my finger because, and just kind of blending the color, it kind of helps. So if you ever make a mistake, you can definitely like cover it up a little bit. I don't want to cover it all up, and I want to make sure that it blends with the blue. You don't want to like completely make it look like it's like all covered up. But gesso definitely helps, and I'm going to like add it more at the edges. And you're going to see that everything kind of will blend in a second when I'm going to add more things. So okay, there we go. So yeah, so that kind of hides it a little bit. But again, if you want to avoid that when you're adding like water things, then you can add gesso here and then it will wipe off pretty easily. Now I'm just gonna just dry the gesso here so I can add a little bit of stamping, because that's basically what I want to do on top, and it will just blend everything together. So now I'm gonna take like a script stamp. This is like a more like of a newspaper stamp. It's an old one from Tim Holtz. That's because I want to use it. I don't even know if it's available, but there's a lot of other newspapers. He comes up with like them. He repeats them a lot, so that's okay. You will be able to use it. You will be able to find something. And the way I like holding my stamp is that I like to not have them like go straight. And what I do is I just kind of add them in certain areas. So it's not fully, it's not fully straight, and you get like that distressed look. So that's why I have always like kind of stamped things. And this is where if you do that there, you kind of hide it and it looks so pretty. Oh, I love that. So some people stamp before. I like stamping after. I've done it before as well and then cover up, but it depends on how you like working. So that's how like kind of like it comes together a little bit. And if you still want to, you can still add, like, so for example, I feel like it's maybe too white here. I could add a little bit of spray, maybe this time with my finger. And it's just kind of will blend that color in a little bit. So there we go. So now it looks like it's all part of one design. And then I'm going to grab my little thing that I made. There it is. And I have a choice either to put it on this side. So last time I put it on this side, I was actually trying to hide something that I didn't like how it turned out. But now I'm thinking I might have it on this side. And I don't only use things that I buy, like, expensively buy. I found this at the local dollar store. It's like a bunch of butterflies. And I thought, wow, this one looks so nice here. And what I did with this is that you can actually add like extra gold to the edges if you really want to. So you can add gold in certain areas, and I find like you can just embellish things so much nicer with this. And it looks so pretty. There we go. So you can add extra touches of gold if you really want, or any color. Sorry, it doesn't have to be gold. Let me just melt this as well. So it kind of added these extra, I mean, there were already some golden touches here, but I just added a few more. And what I also used is a little bit of upholstery thread. I can't even say. So just to add a little bit more texture. So I just put some at the bottom. This is actually a trick I learned from my friend Tiffany. That helps with kind of creating that texture. There we go. So yeah, so this can go underneath here, kind of textured like that. And it's what's nice about the size of the journal is that it's manageable. It's a very small journal. I got it a long time ago and it's just been sitting there and I just haven't gone and done anything live in a while. And you can use glue or gel medium to glue these things. Either one will work. I am taking some gel medium and what I do is I'm going to add it behind here. I don't know why I always use my fingers for things, but I do. I think I really like feeling the touching everything, even though it's probably not the greatest for my health. And what I'm doing is I'm actually, the thread will just stick itself because I am sticking this on top. Okay. I will put something heavy there after I finish gluing it. Okay, so that's that. I think it needs some of this here. Okay, and you can always, if you know if some of the thread is sticking, it will still work with the gel medium. You can just put it on, and that gives it so much nice texture. So the only thing now that is basically missing is a sentiment. And for me, like I bought this one. I also have my own sentiments, but I just like these are stickers from Tim Holtz, so I had to get them. So I just feel like, oh, what do I want? So I like, I don't know, I already used all these flying ones. Inspire. I think Inspire is good. And I think I want it here because I love like this kind of script. You can still add, I still want to add a few splatters to kind of bring it all together because you can't have enough splatters. And to that, I actually like using something called, it's the Dr. P.H. Martin's Bombay white ink. I found this one to be like the easiest to like create splatters with. I just love, because it's an ink and it's not water-based, they actually stay on, especially if I have water-based things. And just add a few white splatters as well as the gold ones, because white splatters kind of bring it all together. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you like the designs and I hope it inspires you to create and get the foundry waxes if you want. For another mixed media video, just click this video right here. Bye, everyone.